Today's topic, we're going to talk about racket stringing organizations and certifications and kind of how it applies to the racket stringing business. This is going to be the first of a 10-part series of business. And so I thought we could start with certifications, organizations. When are they beneficial? When could they help you with your business? And which ones are going to be maybe the ones that you want to go after? So today, Brad and I, we're going to talk a little bit about how this can really benefit your stringing business. So good to see you again, Brad.
Yeah, you as well, Pat. It's good to get back into 2 weeks in a row here after taking the summer off. But yeah, the certifications is something interesting because I hate to say I'm anti-establishment, but I never thought about certifications as far as becoming a teaching pro or certifications about becoming a stringer, because I had strung thousands of rackets, probably no more than 5 or 6 thousand, but still strung quite a few rackets without being certified. And I never gave it much thought. I'd seen a lot, and I kind of knew how to deal with whatever popped up. But then I wanted to start a business, and I wanted to teach my son and daughter how to string. And I thought, well, let me see if there's something I'm missing. Something I could learn from getting certified that I don't know. And so I started researching the certifications and came across the United States Racket Stringers Association, which is a pretty big one here in the United States. And the more I read about it, I thought it would be beneficial to try to get certified and see what else I don't know. And that way, when I teach my kids, I kind of have a well-rounded and a little bit more of a background in stringing. So that's what brought me to be a certified stringer. And then now that I've started a little bit home business, it actually has been, I don't know if it's brought me any more business, but it certainly helps my customers to have a little bit more confidence in me. When I tell them I'm an MRT, which stands for Master Racket Technician, through the United States Racket Stringers Association. So it's nice to have, and I did learn quite a bit. So it's helpful, and it's also allowed me to network with a lot of people in the business. So that's in a nutshell, how I came to it.
Yeah, there's a number of organizations, and predominantly here in North America. We both live in the United States. The only trade organization for racket stringers in the United States, predominantly. And when I first had a tennis shop back many years ago, that was the organization I reached out to because I didn't have a lot of experience in stringing. I'd probably only strung maybe a year or so prior to opening up a tennis shop, and a way to maybe connect with something that gives you some credibility, right? Yeah. And so that was who I reached out to, and that's ultimately where I got certified and also became an MRT, many years ago, and still to this day, have that. But of course, over the years, I've learned a lot, and as far as stringing internationally, stringing in other continents, I've been able to learn about other programs and organizations and certifications that are out there for those folks that live outside of the United States. And so I think we're going to kind of cover some of those today, but let's start with the USRSA, how that pertains to starting a stringing business and what's the value in that. The USRSA is based out of California, and it's been around since the 70s, I believe. And so that organization, you have access to a website that has resources such as, if you're looking for a stringer, if you're looking to learn how to string, if you are looking for information on racket strings, and if you're looking for information on racket. Every year you get a book that has all the stringing patterns. Recertifications, they have what they call the certified stringer, which you have to go through a sequence of technical things to do that. And then, of course, the MRT is kind of their flagship, the Master Racket Technician. That takes a little bit more work. You have to be able to show that you can, string, put on a grip, build up a grip, put on a grommet set. What they've added recently, I think in the last couple of years, the professional racket advisor. So if you work in a tennis shop, if you work in a tennis club, you help others to kind of, show them rackets and know the latest technology about those rackets. That could be beneficial to have. So if you're trying to work in a sports shop and something like that, that might be a certification to get. But the MRT is kind of the top certification, and every year you take kind of a refresher, where any of the new latest technologies that come out, you take a little test. That's kind of the United States Racket Stringers Association. And it's not just for tennis, it's for squash, racquetball, badminton, any
Right.
of those technologies. And so if you're not connected with the industry, you need to kind of start somewhere. I would recommend going for this. If you've been stringing for 10, 20 years and you've built up a clientele, the USRSA is probably not going to be that beneficial for you, honestly. So that's my take on it.
Mentioned with the certifications, you get a sticker, you get in some cases I think you can even order product. You can order a banner, you can order a larger poster. One thing I did that they sell on their website for a couple bucks is our patches, and so I teach tennis a little bit, so I bought like 4 or 5 of these patches. I don't know if you can see them.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
that's right. You mentioned that once before. Yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and people ask me about that. So it's a way to promote my business. When people see that, oh, what's that on your sleeve? What's Master Racket Technician? So you start the conversation, and it has brought me some business. So I just wanted to point that out.
I like that. I never knew that was around, because I know they also have other resources. Now that you're talking about resources by the USRSA, they also have the stickers that you can put in the racket that you can write the string tension
Yes.
and all that. And not only that, you get I actually have it hanging here, which is the everything's falling apart here. But you can have your Master Racket technique. The benefits are, some of those things that you were just saying about, that those patches. I might actually think about getting some of those too and just putting them, you put it on your sleeve and so forth.
That's right.
On your shirt.
Right on the sleeve, a sweatshirt. Yep. You're out in a store, whatever. You wear it around
And,
town. It doesn't have to be on the tennis court.
Right. And also on the USRSA website, they also help promote you by putting your name on there if you join the USRSA. That's another benefit, having that. So if somebody's coming to your town, is looking for a racket stringer, they're familiar with the USRSA, they will, they might be able to find you that way. So there's an advantage to that. So USRSA is really only for those in the United States. I don't think anybody else outside of the United States is going to benefit from this, honestly. So we, you and I are also members of the European Racket Stringers Association. That's the ERSA. And just this last year, we joined, and we also attended the Symposium, which is a big benefit. And again, this is a benefit for us living in the United States. I got a lot of benefit out of it, and able to collaborate with other stringers, predominantly in Europe. And the Symposium for the ERSA brings together stringers from the US, Brazil, UK, South Africa, Taiwan, and Singapore. That's kind of where the market is for the ERSA. And
in Australia.
The Symposium, right, in Australia. And the Symposium coming up shortly here in October, November 2022, has sessions on customizing your stringing machine, tournament stringing, squash stringing, badminton stringing, technical questions, 3D grip molding, setting up a shop business, stringing with natural gut tips, and companies like Dunlop, Diadem, MSV, and Yonex, and a few other ones are going to be represented there. And so it's a great way, because some of those companies aren't always things that you hear a lot about in the US, on tournament stringing and more computerized machines and all that. So it's really valuable if you are growing your business, and especially if you are in those markets as well. I think it's a great, and they have certifications and other things that do benefit you if you do want to become a tour stringer, because they do have certifications, and they have connections a little bit more with the European market, as far as if you want to be a tour stringer. So I would definitely check that out. Okay, there's a couple other ones I found, Brad, as I was doing the research on this that I had not been aware of before. And some of them are maybe offshoots of the ERSA as well. And that would be like the UKRSA. That's an offshoot, I think, of the USRSA, because there are there are chapters in several other countries that are kind of connected with the USRSA.
Yeah.
And lots of acronyms. And that would be like the UK RSA. So that would be like the United States Racket Stringers Association, but it's the United Kingdom one. And so it's similar. I looked on that website, and it's fairly similar the way it's set up. But again, it's predominantly for stringers in the UK and connecting them with resources and stringers in that market. So if you're in that market, I would check that out. The next one is the APRSA, which is for the Asian Pacific market. And that's for stringers, tennis enthusiasts, anybody who wants to find out more about stringing rackets and who is in the Asian market. And they have, again, they do credentialing, they do certifications. They might even have, those symposiums and get-togethers as well, or it might just all be part of that, the European Racket Stringers Association, because the European Racket Stringers Association is pretty dominant in that market, but there is the APRSA, and the GRSA was one that I recently learned about, and that's the Global Racket Stringing Association, and that's the one that's led by Richard Parnell, as you're familiar with Richard. He's the one that started the Parnell knot. He's been a tour stringer for many years and customizes rackets, and he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's part of the GRSA. Also, Nick Downs is a pretty well-known stringer that is part of that organization. And again, they have certifications as well, and they're connected with, I think, the tour a little more than we are here in the United States. So if you want to take it to that level and learn more about customization and connecting, and you're anywhere, they are based out of Spain, I think, is where the headquarters is. But I think they cover a lot of the Western European countries and so forth. So you have the USRSA, you have the GRSA, you have the ERSA, and the UKRSA, the APRSA, and a couple others that I didn't probably touch on. So I think I just want to bring the point out that there is trade organizations wherever you are that would be something that you could reach out to get your business going. And again, feel free to leave comments and reach out to us if you have specific questions on any of these or want to know more information. I'm going to be putting the links below of all of those as well. I'm not promoting any over any other ones. I'm not, getting any money for talking about any of those. I just have my experience with several of them, being a member and being an MRT and attending the symposium and so forth. And there are other organizations in the United States and other countries that are also valuable resources, but we will go into that maybe another video when we talk about, other website resources for racket stringers and ways to connect and stuff. But these are more trade organizations and places that you can get certifications that are known outside of the scope of the area that you're at. So, other people know about it. It brings value to your business, and it's something that can help maybe promote your business and help bring you to that next level.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I found too is, if I ever have a question and I email the USRSA, they respond quickly, and they also have a publication, as does the ERSA. They have monthly or bi-monthly newsletters that come out, tips and tricks, the latest machines, the latest string. So there's a lot of information that you get from it, but it's a great place to be if you're excited about getting into this business and you want to learn more. Just Google some of these things Pat talked about and mentioned, because you're going to find that you'll keep pretty busy for quite a while reading all that is out there. And it also is nice to be a part of it. You're going to network a ton, and you're going to get to know a lot of people in all parts of the industry who may be helpful to you.
And there's a little bit of information in many of those that is free to
Yeah.
access without being a member. And the magazine through the USRSA is one that you can access without being a member.
Right.
And so you can read it every month and kind of see what's happening in the tennis news, who's being promoted, what company's doing what new strings are coming out. They'll review racket machines, they'll review tennis strings. So it just kind of keeps you up to date in what's going on, and you don't even have to pay for that. So I'll leave that. So, yeah. So hey, that was a great talk today, Brad. I think we covered the majority of what's out there as far as the organizations. I know there's a few that we probably missed. I'm going to continue to do some research and hope to update all of that information and leave that down below in this video. So again, please subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and we'll get back to you. So thanks for joining me today, Brad.
Yeah, thank you. It's great. And you have a lot of educated listeners too. So if they know of some organizations that we didn't mention that we should know about, they can leave a comment on that as well, and we can look into that.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, Brad.